Thank you to Mr. Barry for the introduction, and thank you, Father Leahy, for your ongoing support of the Gabelli Presidential Scholars Program. It's an honor to be here this evening representing my outstanding class. I'd like to begin with a story. The door opened and a doctor ran in, hair in clothes a whirl. "Are you the Pakistani girl?" she asked in broken English. I hesitated. What was going to happen if I said yes? After a moment, I replied that I was, and she grabbed me by the hand and asked me to come with her. I jumped up from behind the computer, grabbed a lab coat, and rushed down the long hall of the psychiatric ward in Barcelona. Between quick breaths, random Spanish words, and overall a severe language barrier, I understood that there was a Pakistani patient whose child was in immediate danger, and that I had no idea what I was doing. I was led to a room where I found a woman huddled in the corner, wearing traditional Pakistani clothing and shaking uncontrollably. Her eyes were red, her mouth was distorted. She clutched a helpless newborn baby to her chest, one that I had to save from being accidentally suffocated by her mother. 4 years earlier, as an incoming freshman at Boston College, I entered the Gabelli Presidential Scholar Program's weekend retreat that kicked off a compelling 4-year journey of intellectual rigor, international experience, and career discernment. Freshman year found us traveling from Bologna, Italy, to Shaw House, to poverty-stricken neighborhoods of downtown Boston. We served at Rosie's Place, Suffolk County House of Corrections, and Haley House. And then we left for Nicaragua, where we observed and took part in empowering the homeless by providing them the opportunity to turn recyclables into jewelry, affording them an income. With these new experiences under our belt, our class was ready for our next journey, our sophomore social justice project, to create a documentary on mental health and racial disparities in Boston. Looking back, it still blows my mind that we successfully orchestrated a team of 18 people, filmed the documentary, and hosted its opening night. But it also makes sense. Our first 2 years of experiences through the GPSP had prepared us for this opportunity. The documentary was the culmination of our hard work. But what exactly did those experiences give us that allow us to be agents of change? There are 3 gifts that the GPSP has given us. The first is a critical lens, the second is introspective confidence, and the third is a bias towards action. A critical lens allows me to look at situations around me and understand the multiple layers of psychology, culture, politics, and economics that are constantly interacting with one another. I've developed this lens through the GPSP's focus on deliberate travel with the intention of interacting with people different than me and discussing and reflecting on experiences. Throughout my childhood, I traveled between the US and South Asia to visit family. I would see extreme poverty, but I wouldn't understand why it existed or what I could do about it. Being a part of the GPSP has helped me to turn these frustrations into something more insightful. For example, now I know about the realities of living in a poverty trap, where every dollar, rupee, or Nicaraguan Cordoba earned is barely enough to keep your family fed. The second gift, introspective confidence, is about developing self-knowledge. The GPSP forces us to look inside and understand what we really want to do with our lives. Throughout my life, I've seen the importance of intercultural dialogue and how language can be a mediator between people and cultures. This Latin passion was made manifest through my experiences with the program. I started taking Arabic at Boston College and used it in all of my travels to Muslim countries. I spent a summer in India completing a rigorous Urdu language program through the US State Department's Critical Language Scholarship. By helping me realize this passion, the GPSP has also helped me more fully experience who I am and where I come from. The program's last gift is a bias towards action. We can learn about the world all we want. We can learn about ourselves all we want. But really, nothing happens unless we act. Experiences like the documentary my classmates and I worked on have taught us to mobilize around issues that we care about. For me, That's meant issues around migration and the challenges Muslims face. And I've used this bias towards action to fuel my own travels, from Dubai to India to Kuwait, and finally to Spain. These experiences have culminated in my senior thesis on resilience in Muslim refugees in today's world, with the hopes of pursuing a career in public policy and advocacy. These three gifts, a critical lens, introspective confidence, and a bias towards action, helped me that day in the Barcelona hospital. I walked into that room with a crying Pakistani mother and her baby at risk of suffocation, and had to set my nerves aside. Critical lens. Here was a Pakistani immigrant who probably spoke no Spanish, was at this moment all alone in a foreign land, and was probably suffering from postnatal depression. Introspective confidence. I know what I can do. I can speak her language. I can connect with her. And a bias towards action. I carefully approached the woman and began speaking in Urdu. I gently asked for her name. I told her not to be afraid. Though my insides trembled, I knew that the only way I could help this child would be to display strength and poise. So I sat there with this woman, and after a few minutes of simple conversation, she asked, through teary eyes, where I had learned Urdu. She had noticed my American accent. I laughed and explained that I was from the US, but my parents had come from Pakistan. I loved the language and culture of my mother country. She asked if I wanted to hold her baby, and then slowly passed her child to me. With this small, warm child in my arms, I felt like I had taken an immense step in crossing a cultural barrier, the first of hopefully many. As we celebrate our 25th anniversary of the Gabelli Presidential Scholars Program, Father Keenan reminds us of the bright future that lies ahead, symbolized by the successes of my classmates. From Mackenzie Arnold, who is studying social change around disabilities and education, to Liza McGill, who's writing an impressive thesis on global health policy. I'd like to thank those that make our bright future a reality. Father Jim Keenan, Jenny Thomas, Sarah Gregorian, Mr. Gabelli and the Gabelli family, the Wall Street Council, and everyone in attendance tonight. Your commitment to our success is the foundation and source of inspiration for everything that we do. As a result of this program, I will never stop striving to be more, to do more, and to mobilize around issues that matter. Thank you.